Here we go. All right, cool. All right, that works. Hey, everybody. Ew. Yeah, there's the look. Thank you, Kyle. It is time for patch notes with me, Badger, and him, Kyle, also known as the bonus content. So, it is that time when we talk about the patch. It's patch 5.14, in case you guys are wondering. And yeah, so the patch. We're gonna go over it, tell you what's new, what's fresh, what's live, what's cool, what's kicking, what's shenanigans.
I love shenanigans.
God, who doesn't love shenanigans? And all that. So, yeah, I mean, check it out. We'll keep it real. It'll be fun. And yeah, we'll do that. I'm going to tell people that they might have to refresh to see video pop up. So, yeah.
For everybody that's asking in the chat, the patch doesn't come through until tonight. They always release the patch notes and then they patch overnight, so it'll be live tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be live the next day. It's always the next day. One other thing to note, though, is the last patch was delayed 48 hours because there was a known bug with the patch right as they tried to patch it, so they delayed it. So patches will get delayed occasionally. I think I did comment actually on the video that we made about it, so you can always check that out too. So let us talk about the patch, and also hello.
Let us begin.
Indubitably. The Bilgewater game type, the new one, the new fun game type, will be available sometime during this patch. If you want to know more about it, I actually played a match as the new Gangplank on the PvE a couple of videos ago, so go check that out if you want to see what it's like. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's kind of fun. So, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, we'll get to more of that in a little bit, right? Right.
Yep.
Okay, good. One of the big things in this patch is going to be the HUD update.
Which is really good, because they haven't updated their HUD in
Two
like
seasons?
5 years?
No, two. No, they've updated twice.
4 years?
I think two. I think this last one was season 2 or season 3.
So like
season 2 or 3.
Three full years ago. But
Yeah, something like that. So
2.5 seasons. So yeah, it looks all right, I guess.
I like parts of it, but I wish I could have the time and the kills and some of that stupid crap still up in the top right. The rest of it being down and in the middle and in those two spots, I'm cool with that. That's just a personal opinion thing. I just hate having the clock kind of in a weird flip. It's just the little thing. So, but yeah. So the HUD's coming out. It looks cool. Also, if you want to see the HUD, it's in also that video I played of the Bilgewater mode. So like I said, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. And if you want to see two people named AngryHoneyBadger at the same time as the same champion on the same team because of some crazy item, that's a video to go watch for it. So
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
The more badger, the better. That's good.
Champions. So Gangplank's getting his update on this patch. Over to content.
I've watched I only seen the champion spot. I haven't played him on the PvE or anything, but I don't know exactly how effective his barrels are going to be. So, honestly, I think where it's going to be something where, like, if you're really, really good with Gangplank or you're like a high elo player that can utilize those very, very well, then it would be effective, but it's not one of those things where I feel like everybody can get the maximum out of the kit. So I don't think he's going to be just like the one-shot wonder like he was before, which is good because it basically makes champions. That's what makes champions viable. That's what makes them fun and interesting to play. But I don't expect him to be for everyone. I do like what they're doing with his ult though, with the upgradable.
Yeah, I do. Okay, yeah, I 100% agree with that. I do also agree with what you're saying about his barrels. Since I've played it, it was a little weird and a little tricky at first. I can see how you can make some very interesting outplays with them or use them very strategically. I think the easiest way to use them at first will be using them defensively when escaping, throwing them in front of you, then using them to get away, causing them to either fear them or, use them in that power. But what it does is it makes his kit more dimensional. That's what they're trying to do with a couple of these older champions. We'll talk about another one in a second, but it helps just bring another new dimension to the champion. Adds another depth layer to them so they can potentially be a better champion in like just every aspect really. So actually has a bit more of a skill curve because other than that, what do you do? Eat oranges, BK, speed up team, drop ulti, slow team, shoot one dude. Like it's pretty simple. So I do like it.
crap tons of true damage now.
Yeah, I do like it, but it needed to change. Other than that, I don't mind the rest of the kit. I just want to see how we can all utilize his barrels.
I also think that it could be like kind of unique because you could actually do Gangplank with like almost as a disengage or like an engage team. Like if you have Sever and like Righteous Glory, and then you throw down that upgraded Gangplank ulti that makes your team run fast. Like just think of how retarded that would be.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like you'd be moving like you know, Pony comes in and kills people from full health because he's so fast. I think it'd be I like when they give people utility because it makes like movement speed's very, very important like right now in League. So I think that when you add that to a kit, even if it's going to hurt his damage, it could be super useful. So
I will say one thing that the barrels do for his kit though, that I have learned already, is he was really bad at getting punished for like not being able to farm really well. You only could farm with your Q in lanes where you could maybe get harassed. Like you never had another good option to harass back if you wanted to farm with your Q. And get all the minions you could. So now you will be able to farm with your barrels and harass as well with them, or at least zone a little bit, or make them deal with them while you maybe pick up a little bit of farm. So there's a little bit of a new dimension to in his laning, which is kind of nice, considering it was either you displayed dominance, maybe crit them early, got them to back off, and then they just respected you, versus now you'll be able to just, you know, maybe have more of an engagement opportunity or just farming opportunity, just new lane strategy really. So yeah.
But for just kind of general purposes, I don't think that his build path will change at all. Like I think he'll still be the same champion in that facet. Like he'll still be like that crit plank. It'll just be like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
I think he'll still be fun. He looks good. Besides, they ruined his spectral skin, but whatever, or spooky skin. So whatever.
Why? Because now it doesn't burn your eyeballs.
Exactly. I was gonna make a video about that on the Curse channel, but now I can't. So thanks, Rito.
Stupid Rito.
Next, though, we do have Miss Fortune. She's going to be getting a visual update along with tweaks to her abilities. So, in general, they've just updated her visually. She looks actually really good, to be honest, like super awesome. But other than that, let's talk about her Q. This is her double up. It now deals 150% damage to the first shot kills an enemy unit. If the first shot kills an enemy unit. Bounce logic is now more predictable, which is good because it used to be kind of bad. It will attempt to find a target directly behind the first. If no target is found, then it will go to the closest within a 60-degree angle. It used to be 100, but this makes it make more sense, at least with the whole logic of where it should bounce. So that's kind of nice.
And to be honest, like I've had it where you line up like the champion's right behind the minion, and you Q the minion, and then it goes like sideways instead of just straight backwards. So it's a much needed change in her main damage in lane.
Mm-hmm. Then we have her impure shots. Grog Soak Bullets has been removed, no longer applies the grievous wounds. Set sail. On activation grants strut move speed bonus. The cooldown on that, instead of being 16, is going to be 12 seconds. So she's going to get the move speed bonus when she uses her impure shots, which is kind of cool to use her passive in on that. I think it's kind of smart. Actually makes her have a bit more utility, which is kind of awesome. So yes. And then on her her E, Make It Rain. It's going to have different slows. It's going to be a little bit higher sooner and not quite as much late. So instead of 25 to 65, it's going to be 40 to 60. So a little bit better early, honestly, which is great because you usually only put 1 point in that. And so you got a little bit more out of that now.
And then you just leave it until you have to start maxing it. But
Yep.
I think I like what they're doing with Misfortune. Although the Grievous Wounds kind of sucks because you have like tanks and they heal a lot, like that meta. But just like, I think that adding, even though it's not like a dash, like movement speed is always good on AD carries, especially because the AD carries that struggle in the meta are the AD carries that don't have those jumps. So I don't know if she's going to be super viable, but I think that she's going to be able to be played at like higher elos. I don't expect her to be played in LCS just yet.
I think her ult still suffers a little bit.
Yeah, she doesn't do a lot with her ulti, but
it doesn't. It just really falls off late game. It's for clearing waves, kind of like how Lucian's is for clearing waves.
Yeah,
really late.
The 40% extra on Make It Rain though is pretty big because it sets up ganks really, really well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, having it at 40 for sure. I agree. Next we have Ahri. This is a big change that needed to happen, and I thought they fixed this at one point, but apparently they did not. Charm no longer causes monsters to freak out and start to regen, which is because like it would charm them, and it was, I guess, assuming, oh, I'm no longer being aggroed therefore I will regen all my health, which was super annoying if you wanted to just use it for damage. So good fix, actually. Like, seriously.
Yeah, great fix. Something that kind of goes into this. I know it's not this exactly, but when you Alpha Strike Dragon as Z, it'll reset the knockback, and they need to fix that too. Unless it's supposed to be like that, and I don't know why it would be.
Yeah.
Because like blue buff doesn't start to regen when you Alpha Strike.
I think part of it, yeah, they need to fix that, but I think it's because it's still getting the untargetable thing. So when you become untargetable, it thinks, and I don't think they've applied it to that monster.
Like I'm saying that like they should make it have like a 0.5 or like 1 second cooldown where it doesn't reactivate it, so you can use Alpha Strike and like use an actual ability on Dragon as Master Yi. It's not a big deal, but like Master Yi is a pretty good jungler right now, so it just kind of came to mind.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It's a good point. Call Riot. 1-800-RITO, please.
Rito, please.
Next in the patch, we have Azir.
This is actually
gonna be seeing some
my
changes.
second favorite part of this patch.
Oh, yeah?
I hate Azir. Like, I love playing him. I can't even say that. I don't love playing him. I love him when he's on my team because he's just so retarded. Like, and like there's been a lot of like, I don't say controversy, but just people talking about how these changes will affect him and stuff like that. But the biggest thing to me is if you do the math, it's actually a nerf on the attack speed on Arise when they switched it from his passive to his W. And then, in my opinion, when you lose CC, it's always a huge deal. When you like now you can't shift sands, knock someone up, get behind them, and knock them back. Like so, Azir's playmake it creates opportunities for counterplay, so you can like, I don't know, use your jump or like use a dash or something, or like flash to get out of that, so you don't get ultied backwards into the team. So his playmaking will go down dramatically. I still think he's going to be relatively good just because he's got the long range clear. And then he still does ass tons of damage. They didn't change any of his damage, so. But this is, I like this. Like I like these fixes. I think he's a little bit too strong.
The tweaks make sense. So I mean, overall, like what you said is like, so, Shurima's Legacy no longer gives you attack speed based on your cooldown reduction, and now just like you said, on Arise, you now passively gain attack speed through that, which is kind of nice. Cooldown reduction on Azir though, still honestly a very good thing for queuing soldiers because. Like, that is your kit, so it's not like cooldown reduction's irrelevant now. It's still very, very important to his kit because you need your soldiers to do anything else, basically. So, that's still important to have. So, but besides that, you usually max your W last. That's probably still going to remain the same, or maybe only throwing an extra point into it some other time. Or you might max this out second now since Shifting Sand no longer knocks up enemies. Just depending on what you're looking for, honestly, I think it'll be kind of a personal preference, and team composition will actually probably dictate that depending on how you're using Azir. So this is going to take a lot of power out of Azir within the early and mid game when he can start to spike ahead if he does get ahead. But now they're just really shifting this to, hey, late game you'll still be the monster that you are. Just concentrate on getting to the late game. So,
but you wouldn't change this at all, or like, I don't want to say change this, but like, are you going to build him more of just like a power hit champion instead of like the attacks? I guess his attack speed comes passively.
I think you get passively, so I think you build him as maximum damage. I know people still really like to think about like Nashers. Don't build that item on him. I know they buffed it, and it technically is better now. I don't think you need it still. I think you just want to get the hard hitting items early, so when you do hit someone twice, you are two-shotting them because he still will do that. So, yeah.
Like I said, I like the changes. Yeah. Azir was too strong as he was. Like
I just played a bunch of him too lately.
He's a very high skill cap champion, so like props to all the people who can be good with Azir, but like it was almost like too easy to get okay with him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like to play him like Phoenix or like Bjergsen or someone like that's ridiculous, but like that's so hard to do. But
I really hope this doesn't take him completely out of competitive play, though.
Oh, I love seeing Azir in competitive play, so I hope so. Like I hope it doesn't as well, but I don't know. It could be pretty because like
I think this is gonna hurt him more than I think Riot maybe thinks. To be honest, and I wouldn't be surprised if they tweak him to help him in other areas in the future because Azir's got like the 9th lowest win rate. Like it's really bad actually. It's not that high, but if you're good with him, it's crazy. So. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Next is Darius. Now
The Dunk Master himself.
The Dunk Master gets an upgrade. He gets the new now briefly grants vision in an area around the pole for
Look
apprehend.
before you weep. This doesn't change anything because you're going to know if you pull someone or if not. So to me, this doesn't really change anything. And it's kind of one of those things. Who plays Darius at all? Like I haven't seen a Darius in one of my games for years.
Yeah, he's
You get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I hear you.
it's a nice change.
But...
It's kind of a cool change, just in case like they're just out of range and you have like flash dunk or something. But who cares?
Yep, a little bit. Next is Echo. We saw him completely fall off the face of the earth because of his nerfs a little bit.
We actually had a Twitter fight about this.
We did.
Some tweet drama.
Well, I told you.
Well, I told you what?
I was just saying.
I think, like, basically, for everybody that doesn't follow us on Twitter, Badger thought that it was relatively small hits, and I thought that it was relatively small hits, but they hit every single part of his kit.
I
so,
agree.
like, that equals one big hit to me. And so he has such a unique kit, and people, like, I actually think it's partly that, but partly people, like, started to learn how to play around the ultimate damage. And, like, basically, if you never get damage from your ultimate, you're basically, like, why even have it,
Yeah, kind of.
But this is just Time Winder. It needs to have lower mana just because if you use it at all, you're basically going to run out of mana unless you have blue buff.
Well, now that your ult uses mana, you need to always have some set aside.
Exactly. And Phase Drive is kind of one of those things where you max it second on him, so when you can use it more, it's always good, but later ranks it's still the same. So
yeah,
it's kind of magoo.
I think Echo was a champion where, like, Tom Kent right now, as a support, which is what he'll, eventually be ingrained to, although we see him all over the place, will suck for a bit and then get better, kind of like how Bard did, because his utility is...
Well, Bard also got buffed, like...
Bard got buffed, too. They both got buffed, but, I mean, like... But Bard got little buffs, but then it basically was like, oh shit, this is how I should be playing him, not that way. Like, people weren't playing him right. I think the same thing's happening with Tom. Echo is, hey, look, no one knows how to play against him, therefore anything I do currently works. But now that people are also understanding what they need to look out for when it comes to playing Echo, he became easier to play against, and that's why he needs a little bit of help now.
Which, I don't know if anybody watches, like, high elo streams, but, like, when a new champion comes out, you will always see the new champion banned, regardless if they're, like, Bard when he first came out, or if they're, like, Yasuo when he first came out. Like, it's just the fact that people don't know how to play, like, around them yet, and so they want to get kind of used to it before they actually take it into rank, and so they just rather ban it. So, I don't know if, like, Echo just got through more, and so people thought that he was super OP because they didn't know how to play against him. But I think that the professional players kind of know, like, the ins and outs of the game. And so since we haven't seen him a lot, and it changes with the Devourer and the Runeglaive, like, entrance into the game. So, like, ever since those have been in the game, Echo hasn't been played. So I don't know. It could be that.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I know a lot of people that watch low elo streams.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, someone just said, "Are you kidding me? Nobody watches low elo streams."
There's a lot of them on Twitch.
Yeah,
like a lot.
10 of the top 20 are all low ranking booby streamers. Like, what are you talking about?
Got him.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyways, we have Elise, who is next. Elise, who I've been talking a lot of nonsense, probably a lot of people may think. I think she's been fine and could use small help. She's been getting that consistently, and now I think she's great, personally, and everybody's still like, I don't know if it's time to play her yet, but she might be okay. No, she's a great player. Her Cocoon, at level 1 now, has a 1.6 second stun instead of 1 second, and it still scales to 2, so it scales 0.1 instead of jumping up a little bit to 2. So right there, that's a big help because you're gonna max that out last anyways. because you're going to be building damage Elise. So
I was
1.6
actually
seconds
seeing
is
a lot
great.
of people put like 2 or 3 points into E.
Well, now you don't have to.
Now you don't have to, and
Now
it's
you don't
huge.
have to. Yeah. Well, because you put 2, then you get 1.5, and that half second is pretty helpful. But now you don't have to, because now you get it at 1. So they've fixed that part of her kit. And then in Spider form, it's not physical damage now; it'll be magical damage. And they're going to increase the ratio by 0.05, which is a nice little thing. Spiderling movement also increased by 10, and a bug fix. So buffs, just buffs. I think she's great. Like, player guys, like seriously, she's great. Like
I think after like
Evelyn,
Kale
ooh.
and Yi and
Evelyn's
like
better.
Shyvana and who else is really good in the jungle right now? That's it.
Vi's still fine.
Vi's all right. But like I think she'll be right there.
Borderline
right?
top 10. Top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say like top 10.
Top 10. Easily top 10.
But I guess you have Nidalee as well.
Yeah, you have some,
up
but you
there.
have some skill ones in there because like Nidalee's great if you're good.
Then you have Gragas, which is more of like for like competitive play. Not many people play Gragas properly, so it just gives me.
I think what happened though was because, like Elise completely fell off. I think people forgot. Like, oh my God, you're right. I can literally walk into a lane and cocoon people. Like,
Yeah.
they increased the missile speed and the width of it. I mean, like you can just go do it. That's all I'm saying. Go play Elise.
Yeah, she's got a
You
great
want
kit.
some free low? Go play Elise.
She's got a great kit.
Yeah.
So
Next is Evelyn. On her hate spike, she will be doing less damage when it's fully maxed out. Instead of 100, it's only going to do 80 now. So hate spike's getting kind of a decent hit. Kind of a big deal, honestly. And then Agony's Embrace is going to actually get much better slow, which is really good, actually. It's really, really kind of crap at rank 1, in my opinion. 30% is okay, but it's not that great. So now it's 40, 60, and 80 instead of 30, 50, 70. So
I'm all for like Evelyn's. Her whole thing is doing damage right now. Like people just build Runeglaive on her and then they just shred people. And I actually thought she was in an okay spot because if you could like deep ward properly, she wasn't really a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But like what she struggles with is she struggles with like 1v1 fights,
Yeah.
and so decreasing her damage on hate spike is gonna certainly hurt Evelyn. I don't think she's gonna be. I think that Elise will take her spot in the top.
Yeah, they just switched, in my opinion. Big time.
Yep. Callista.
Kalista is next. Recommended items have been updated. Cool story. Pierce now probably queues up the cast after her basic attack completes. And on her Sentinel now probably queues up the cast before or after her basic attack completes. So just some little bugginess between using abilities and jumping, hopping, and attacking. So some small changes, some would say.
I don't really have anything to say. It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's kind of straight up. Next, we also have Rumble. So, long story short, Flamespitter no longer damages untargetable enemies, who would have thought, and then no longer damages enemies who are out of range of Flamespitter's distance. Also, who would have thought? And then Equalizer no longer damages untargetable enemies.
So basically, what they did is it just made the Q damage match the actual animation, and they just I don't even know why that was a thing. I didn't even know it did that. I didn't know that it damaged untargetable enemies, but I don't think it matters really. I think good Rumble players will still be really good. But let's move on to my favorite change of this patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rise. He's getting nerfed pretty hard.
Yeah. Rise is he's the hardest champion to balance in the history of goddamn world. Kind of like
TLDR, I don't think that he's gonna be anything anymore.
we don't
Like,
use those words here.
Is that what do you call it?
Sacrilege?
Is that no? What is that? Copyright?
Copyright. Anyways,
No.
hold on, guys. I'm getting a message in curse voice. Oh, look at that drop.
What drop?
Somebody wants to play Terraria.
Yeah.
Soon, my friends. All right, cool. Yeah, had to do that. Anyways, back to Rise. Side note. His passive stack duration 6 seconds, not 10, and his Q and his E are both seeing damage reductions, and quite drastic in my opinion, because it's the same early, obviously, on his Q, but he's losing 40 damage on it at late, which is a pretty big amount. Also, Spell Flux, the damage on that much lower early. It doesn't scale at 116, only 100, and a ratio of 0.1 is being removed from it. So yeah.
He's still going to be able to like basically almost perma-root people, but he's not going to do nearly the retarded amount of damage that he did before. So I don't expect him to be like perma-banned or even like highly contested. Like I would imagine that now you'll see him not get banned and like go all the way through champion select and not get picked.
I think this will still make him like viable, but just not stupid with it, like at level 4 when he's like items.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that he's gonna be anything anymore.
Yeah. Good.
Because it's not him, like his strength. It's him versus other top laners that worries me. Because like now he's not gonna be able to like burn through any tank or anything like that. And he's like, I would play pretty much anything into him. I can't think of something that I wouldn't play into him now, except for like Fedora.
Yeah.
And Teemo.
Yeah.
That's just because I don't play Teemo.
Yeah. Next, Tom Cock.
Tom Cock.
Tom Cock's going to get a little bit more damage on his Q, which is his tongue. A little bit more damage as he scales it up, which is kind of nice. It just gives him a little bit more damage in lane. I really wish he had some range on his standard attacks, honestly. Like some kind of like really short, crappy range instead of like melee range. Personally, just feels like he could use it. And then on his Voyage, the bonus damage ratio is going to scale up to 8, which will help him as the game progresses. And the cooldown on that is being reduced at early levels because holy god, it lasts forever.
Yeah, 160 is way too long. I actually have seen a lot of people been like playing Tom, and I actually really like his playstyle. I just think that he's kind of poop. And the reason you kind of touched on is his melee distance is so short, and he's just so slow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like it's hard to like basically orb or like not what do you call it, stutter step in front of people and get the 3 stacks on them so you can nom them and pull them back. And I think that the 8% on his ultimate is going to be huge because that applies on Q and W and his basic attacks, correct? Yeah. So do I think he's going to be great? Maybe. Like I think he's a good top laner. I think he's a good jungler. I don't like him as support though.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they balance him out to actually get him there.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's worth playing right now though. So, sorry, Tom.
I think he's fun, but I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next is Vayne on her Q, which is her tumble, begins upon launching the attack.
This is really good.
Oh, yeah, that is really good. Tumble's attack will be consumed even if the target becomes invulnerable mid-flight. Well, that's kind of cool, too. I like
Basically, this will just, like, it'll save you, like, however long it takes for the auto to reach the person.
Mm-hmm.
It'll basically just shorten the cooldown by that amount of time. And so that's a pretty big buff, especially when Vayne has such a short range.
Yeah.
I think that Vayne's really, really strong right now, regardless, just because you have the Devourer that people have been going. A lot of people have been playing her jungle because then you get true silver bolts off every 2 attacks instead of 3, which is huge, especially in the tank meta. So,
yeah, it's ridiculous. I wonder if they'll make an exception somehow because they're gonna probably have to at some point.
Well, just like make it.
Just not affect ranged champions or something stupid.
Well, then you'd take out like
I know.
Tail.
I'm just saying.
And
I know. I understand. They do it. They do something similar future in the patch. Foreshadowing.
Oh yeah.
Foreshadowing. Next we have Yajimbo, and Yajimbo. Steel Tempest Whirlwind now properly applies on-hit effects to the first target. Oh wow. Well. Or as Riot has says it, we fixed it. Well, about time. Good. Fix your game, Riot. Fix your game.
Yeah, fix your game.
Next is items. We have the Hunter's Machete. Mana regeneration while in combat with monsters is going to go up from 3 to 4. So more mana regeneration. That's kind of nice. It's a nice little thing. Who doesn't like more mana? Tell me.
I'm all for jungle buffs. I
Yeah.
love like junglings. I love jungle, but this is almost going to be so small it's not even going to be noticeable in my opinion, unless you're like Diana or someone like that.
We're gonna say something. Tank meta. People are saying tank meta's left. Let's talk about this for a second. I don't think tank meta's left as much as the other tank positions or the other jungle positions are actually on par now. I think the jungle, when it comes to strength of jungle item, is actually pretty close to even in current state-ish. Current, kind of. How
Yeah,
do you feel?
it's kind of hard to say because I hate always going back to, well, if you watch LCS, they still play Gragas, they still play those tank junglers. It's it's still here, and but like in solo queue, people would rather like it's just that carry mentality where it's harder to carry as a tank than it is as a damage character. So people play a Kale, they play, you know, Shyvana, they play Master Yi, they play those high damage characters instead of those tank characters. So solo queue and LCS are not exactly the same, but like if you had a good team that works well together, tank is still the way to go.
True.
And they've actually changed some decent stuff about
They've
the
changed
game.
a lot of stuff. They've changed.
Well, like, because you have the Devourer, which double procs Blade of the Ruin King, and then you have the Leandry's buff. So now it actually is something that you would buy, and I don't know. It's got. I think it's at about in the same spot.
Yeah, I think things are progressing. The other thing too that dictates what we play meta wise is honestly, people see things in the upper parts of solo queue. It gets seen in the LCS a little bit, and that dictates play a bit. And one thing we see is the team compositions that those teams are playing dictate certain picks that need to be happening.
Correct.
And then what happens is a new champion comes with a bunch when somebody, usually high up the ladder, goes, I think this can counter this, which means we can tweak this part of our team comp, and that's when you see shifts within the meta. So,
Yep.
that's just kind of how it all works, honestly. So.
Yep.
Like, we had that crazy run of Trundle last season at one point. It's like, Trundle's kit hasn't hardly changed. If anything, they've actually buffed it since then, but we're not seeing him now.
And it's actually a meta that's more more like Trundle-rific.
Yeah, it is.
But he just doesn't really like the champions that are good are too good against against Trundle, so it's just like he doesn't really work right now. Like the items make it so Trundle's not as good as he was previous season.
Yeah.
Like you said something that made me laugh. Did you know that Pro Builds has deactivated Void Boy as a pro player because when he was playing, he'd buy like Triforce at the end of games on like Yasuo, and it would mess up the stats, and people would buy Triforce.
Oh, that's absolutely hilarious and kind of amazing.
I thought it was pretty funny.
That it makes sense, but yeah, and he's not a pro anymore technically.
Well, like
so.
you have people that are like Saint Vicious is still on there, and like
he's a coach for a team, but yeah, I hear you.
I understand, but like you have people that haven't played in the scene and for in seasons.
Yeah.
That are still on there, so
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Runeglaive.
Runeglaive is next. So here's the changes to Runeglaive. Let's just put it this way: no longer converts basic attack damage into magic damage, and only applies on monsters, the AoE. So, monsters. And then deals double damage to the first monster hit. So it got a nerf and a buff, but mostly a giant nerf.
Well, it's actually a giant nerf to AP Ezreal, AP Gangplank, AP Nasus, AP Misfortune. Like those champions that use it in lane. Like they tried to do a little bit of this last patch, and they didn't really like what they saw. So they changed it, and the Runeglaive was always supposed to be, or it was always supposed to make AP junglers have an easier time clearing the jungler, or like the jungle. So,
Yeah.
like this is probably how it should be, and I like that it deals double damage to the big minion. Like it's a good change, and it'll do what it's supposed to do now. But like AP Ezreal won't be a thing with this. Like it still might be a thing, but just not with Runeglaive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So.
just because it's not going to work.
Yep.
Wait, once. Yeah. Buy stupid parts of Runeglaive. I think the rest of it's fine, but buy to the stupid parts. And hello to some nice ones in the jungle. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So next we have a new item in the game. Zeke's Herald's no longer around. It is being replaced by Zeke's Harbinger. So, hooray, new item, I guess.
Glacial Shroud, Amp Tone, 40 gold.
Correct, sir.
That's a lot.
It is a bit, but it will give you 250 mana, 35 armor, 50 ability power, and 10% cooldown reduction. Unique active, you can bind to target ally. This will remove all other conduits on the target. It has a 60-second cooldown. So when you are within 1,000 units of each other, you and your ally generate charges, stacking until 100 is reached and lasting for 8 seconds. Attacking or using abilities generates extra charges. At maximum charges, this is going to cause damage, or causing damage consumes all charges and increases you and your allies' ability power by 20% and critical strike chance by 50% for 6 seconds. So you basically get massive buff moments when you reach 100 stacks with this bound unit. So you'd get this, and you'd probably be with your ADC, bind to them. When you reach your 100 stacks, it'd activate, and for that fight, you as a support and them as an ADC would have extra percent, ability power and crit strike for the next 6 seconds, which is kind of crazy, and I'm interested to see how this actually plays out.
You know who's going to be, I don't know why I just thought of this. Someone that I'm going to try this out on would be Annie.
Annie support?
Annie support.
You know who I think this could be interesting on? Those ADCs who actually get some AP scaling. Corki. And who doesn't ever get enough crit chance to be relevant, but gets a little bit. Corki. You get more scaling on all of your other damage, and you'd probably get some crits in there, with your true damage.
Who would you build this on, outside of, support-wise? Because the support's going to be the ones buying this item. So, Annie, maybe Morgana, maybe. Who else is AP? That's
Zyra.
Zyra. That's about it.
No, I think you're gonna see.
You wouldn't build it on Nautilus
Sona,
or Bard, or you might build it on Sona.
Soraka.
But Soraka doesn't build AP. When I play Annie, I build Sightstone. I have my gold per item, and then I build straight damage and just nuke people. And so you could do it with Sona because Sona has really good scaling, but it's just I don't really see this being bought over stuff like Mikhail's. Mikhail's is just so good.
Janna.
What else is good? The thing that makes minions involved. Banner of Command's really good.
Banner of Command's really good. You know what's actually pretty good on the few healing supports is actual Ardent Sensor. Actually pretty damn good on them.
It's freaking retarded. Because you heal the whole team in a team fight.
Alright, here's a question. Karma.
Actually I don't like Karma right now. So
Lemon Nation would kill you, but that's fine.
Well, I see the point. I see that she does a lot of stuff well, but she doesn't do anything great. She's a jack of all trades, a master at none. She's not like Annie. She's not gonna blow someone up. She's not great at peeling like Janna. So she just or Nautilus or someone like that. So she's just kind of all over the place, I guess. But I can see why. When you have to do so much like Lemon does, Karma's a great champion. But when you have more focus in your team comp and what you want it to do, I think there's other better picks. Yeah. But yeah, Karma would be work well with this.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Just do it. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm not sure how much it's gonna get bought. I'm assuming
it'll kind of be like Ardent Sensor.
It'll be a little bit like Ardent Sensor for a little bit.
Ardent Sensor's actually been being bought more often now.
It is. People realize it's really good. You have 30 attack damage for that when you have the heal, and Sona can give the whole team that. It's insane, honestly. It's really good. Played it on her the other day.
Sona, Alistar, the thing is Alistar, forget Alistar, Sona's not a great support right now. She is, but not.
Nami's better.
Yeah, Nami's better, and Nami can only heal 1, maybe 2 people. So, does it stack with Locket? Do you know?
What do you mean stack?
If you activate Locket, does it give everybody the Ardent Sensor buff?
Shit, I think it does. Oh my god! That's so good.
Because then you could just, you could build that on Leona or someone like that. And,
Yeah, it wouldn't be that good, though, because you only get to use it once every minute.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's a pretty long cooldown. But
no, I'm just saying you could double stack, though, for Sona, though. If you could do your AoE healed shield, and if they're all in your aura, they all get it, and then when it fades, you could just pop Locket. That's kind of cool.
Oh, Brand would be good too, because there's a lot of supports that have been played.
I
that aren't.
agree it would be good on those champions, but
Shen and Brand have both been played a lot.
yeah, but the problem is with that, it would be good on those champions. But the problem I have is, do you want to get that mana, the armor, 50 AP, and 10% cooldown, or do you just want to go get a Leandry's?
It depends on who your carry is, to be honest.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Like,
We'll
if
see
you're
that.
responsible for damage on your team as a support, you probably should get something like Leandry's. But like, if you have like a Vayne or a Kog'Maw or something that's just like retardedly strong late game, then probably get this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I like this item. I think it adds diversity to support, which is something that really isn't there. Like,
Well,
I see
it wasn't there 2 seasons ago. They did add it in season.
well, like even now, like you see the 3 jungling items or the 3 support items being bought, and then everybody buys Sightstone, everybody buys boots, and then everybody buys Mikhail's and I can't think of the other one. I'm gonna look.
What about Bard? I don't think Bard, guys. Bard just gets beefy, honestly, and
Well,
he
Bard's-
just keeps getting meeps.
His damage is actually pretty. His base damage is actually pretty good. But
That's why I
like,
don't think you need it, though.
I don't think his scaling's that good.
No, that's why you don't. That's why I don't think you want it. I think you just pretty much still take him tank. I know you can help your ADC, but I think you just want to be barding it up.
Princess Glory is what I was thinking of. But
Baron and Dragon.
Baron and Dragon. Actually, I remember when we were doing patch notes when the timers first became a thing, and I said that I hated it, and I still hate it.
Somebody's wondering what it'll take Zed to come back into play. It's his ultimate. You that 1 second duration to go back to your alt's shadow ruins him for tower diving. So that is why.
I actually think that Zed is an okay pick, but he's one of those champions, kind of like Yasuo. He's like, or like you have to be really really good with him in order to be very very successful consistently, and you just don't really have that.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you'll see people like Red Mercy still plays Zed all the time, and still does very well with him. So like it's just one of those. He's just old.
Yeah, a little bit.
But going back to Dragon and Baron, I
Yeah.
hate this change. I hate it.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it. It's basically because now you get Dragon and Baron timers are updated instantly for both teams, regardless if you have vision or not.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So like, there's no advantage of like sneaking a Baron or like sneaking a Dragon besides the actual buff that you get.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Before you could set up like vision before the Baron actually came up, because they didn't know when it came up. They had an idea about when, but you could get there like 30 seconds before spawn, set up like ward control and get some picks, and then take Baron again. But that doesn't happen now, and I think that it's just they're making it easier for new players, and that's fine. But people like the game, like I hate to break it to you, but there's not a lot of new players coming in like there was.
Not as many, no, for sure.
So like this just makes the game easier. It makes it simpler. It makes it lazy.
I'm okay with them making the noise but not giving the timers. I'm okay with the noise because
Well, yeah,
people
like-
miss the Dragon one already. Because Dragon does already make a noise most of the
Yeah.
time. Like you can hear it. I think Baron, if Baron made a little squeal if you were close-ish or something, that would be fine. But full on this is a little kind of stupid, personally.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree.
But
Like,
it's
I'm
because they
okay-
want match tempo to pick up, and they want to force these fights and engagements. It's what they've been doing, tweaking the towers and changing the shielding and taking the slow off. They're like, go dive, go die. They want you to die and progress, which they're speeding up game time. And honestly, I think the reason underneath all of it is because of Heroes of the Storm.
Really?
Seriously, yeah. I don't think anybody's really said that, but honestly, I think that's the reason. Heroes of the Storm matches last 15 to 22 minutes most of the time. Like, when was the last time you're in a Heroes of the Storm match that lasted longer than 25 minutes? Ever. I've never have. They've all been 20 minutes
I
or
can't
less.
think so.
So, Riot's saying this is popular. People like that. They can get into a game quick. They can get out of the game quick. The reason behind Dominion was like, here's a 15, 20-minute game. You guys
But
are
no one
complaining
can play.
about hour-long matches. Yeah, but that's the thing. It was like, if you want to get rid of an hour-long league match and you wanted to make Dominion, but you didn't want to actually make Dominion, start a league match where everybody's at level 4 or 3. Like, make ARAM. Everybody start at level 3 and start them out with 1,200 gold and then send them to lane. Like, game progression would be, is what it is. But that's where I think this all comes from, is from Here's the Storm. I think some of this is like, hey, we can speed up the games. We can do more with the games. They're more interesting. There's more happening. People are more involved. It's less boring to watch. So
For me, it's not so much like the reason that I really don't watch the American or EU LCS anymore is because I absolutely like I understand that it's smart and strategic and there's reasons that they do stuff, but honestly, the most entertaining game of League of Legends that I've watched in like 3 years was this last weekend, and it was Cloud9 versus CLG because it was just constant fighting.
yeah,
And it was like I don't want to like make this sound corny, but it was like poetry in motion. Like each fight was so unique and like so well played that like it was really really fun to watch, and there wasn't a lot of downtime. The thing that makes League hard to watch is where it's 25 minutes into the game and there's one kill.
yeah. I agree. No, I 100% agree. They're trying to push this all.
The game not to be shorter, but to just be more explosive. And I don't know how they're going to do that.
I think this is one of the ways to do it. Is basically it's like, well, we didn't know what Dragon Timer is, so this is like, oh guys, it's up in 20 seconds. We missed it the last time, but we can still go contest for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is one of the ways that they can do all that. So, yeah, that is what's happening.
Rift Scuttler.
Rift Scuttler.
Charms Taunts.
You got it. Take it over.
Make it, yeah. So basically, if you hit it with any CC now that isn't as slow, you will get the debuff on the armor and magic resist. So that just makes it, pretty cool because it's a big difference in the amount of like time it takes to take Scuttler, when it has that lower resistances. But it's not a huge change, I don't think. No.
No.
But. Death recap, still haven't fixed it. Good job.
Now they fixed it. Instead of giving you the 3 lowest damaging things to you, it's the 3 highest. Who would have freaking thought?
Yeah, we'll see.
Death recap?
We'll see.
Syndra can no longer pick up Baron. GG.
I didn't know they do that.
I didn't see anybody do it, to be honest, but apparently that was the thing. Time Bomb now properly interrupts enemy recalls.
Wouldn't that be something that they delay or like disable Syndra for? Or did they like just learn about this?
I don't know. I feel like you should just there should be one guy, right? Each time new patch, guys. All right, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna go test to see if she can go pick Baron up this time.
Yeah.
Like every patch, just like a couple things. Who would have thought?
And then,
we have upcoming skins.
So, Misfortune looks really good in that skin, and then I actually really like all the splash arts in this one except for the last one.
I do like the Misfortune skin. It's kind of cool, actually.
I don't like the Aatrox, Garen, Quinn splash art, but I do like Misfortune.
What's this one? This is the Graves and the Twisted Fate. Back when they were still friends, right? Because now they fucking hate each other.
Jeez, another TF skin? And another Misfortune skin? And another Garrett skin? Good game.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the Cottontail Fizz to come out.
Yeah, this one's okay. Garen looks interesting. Quinn looks fine. Aatrox looks weird as shit. He's like a shark.
Yeah. Well, that's what Sea Hunter Aatrox. I get it. He looks actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
but,
it's very interesting.
I don't like the... What is that in the background of the Sea Hunter Aatrox one?
Coming through the door?
Yeah. Is that a next champion?
Probably.
Or like a skit, like a next legendary or something?
Nautilus back there?
No, it's too small to be Nautilus.
I don't know. They always hide stuff in splash arts, so if you guys are really bored, go look through Riot splash arts. They seriously hide shit in them. Vel'Koz was hiding in Victor's...
Yep.
In the background.
Yep.
So yeah.
Overall, I think this patch is pretty good.
Yeah.
Riot's nerfs, Azir nerfs, which they were 2 of the most OP champions in the game, so it's good. And then the new Zeeks should be interesting. And they nerfed AP Ezreal, which is always good.
Yeah, I concur. I'm kind of with you on that one. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's about it, though.
Yeah, that really is the patch. What do you guys think of it? Let us know.
We'll see. TF is come to Jamaica, man.
Come to Jamaica, man.
Of course, no Rek'Sai.
Yeah, he does have dreads. It's kind of weird for TF. You don't really think of TF with dreads, man. But still pretty cool.
It could be a new champion. I
Uh,
just
yeah, good.
we could talk about like a lot of people were asking our opinions on the Fiora update, so we could kind of just touch at
Yeah,
what.
Fiora. So, her opinions. Her kit is very one-dimensional as well, like Gangplank's current one, although that's getting changed, like we know. It'll be less one-dimensional. I would say it's actually less one-dimensional than current GP though, like current Fiora. I think there's actually more involved with it, but there's still some stuff that they could tweak. So I think her first 3 abilities are all really smart. I personally don't care for the new ultimate. I understand what it can do, and I see what it can do for a fight. But like, I'm one of those people who thinks like when they tried to change Pantheon's ultimate, and they wanted to remove his man drop completely, then I think that is like, like like if a champion has something that's so like unique to their kit, they got to keep it. And I think her ult's that way too. So I just wish they wouldn't. I would, even if you have to auto somebody 3 times before you get like some kind of stack or something for it to deal great damage, because I know it's kind of a point and click like major damage thing. Like, even if they did that, that'd be great. I just think the new one just looked kind of meh. So.
What I think about the ultimate, just kind of touching on my opinion, I guess, is it's really really good for Fiora, but it's counterproductive of what her what her personality is. Like, she's the grand duelist, but now she's going to give her whole team a heal that stands in this thing. So I don't know. It's kind of Magoo to me. I do love the fact that what was it called? Her W. I forgot what her W is called. But I do love the fact that her W now will like return CC and like can block those spells. Like, that's really really cool instead of just the basic attack, because that was kind of lame sauce. But you have to actually be good with it. So wait a second. Can you use her W to send back a Yasuo tornado?
Probably.
That would be OP.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of cool counterplay for her repose now, or whatever yeah. I think, like I said, the first 3 abilities look perfect. They look like what she needs. The ult makes me go, I don't know. So I think they're kind of trying to take the whole passive healing thing out of her passive and put it into a weird ult. I don't know. It's weird.
Which, her passive sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
Her passive was one of their worst passives in the game.
Yeah, it was a little boring. So.
Like, it was almost as bad as Ash's old one.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make a comment. Do I think it's weaker? I haven't fucking played it. Like, I can't say if it's. No, I think it looks better though.
Like, just from what we've seen, like, I personally think that it's gonna be better for team fighting, weaker for like solo like assassinations.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I agree. That is the patch though, right?
the patch will be launched tomorrow.
Yeah.
For someone.
Patch always comes out the next day after they announce it. So unless they kind of delay it due to bugs. So, but yeah, that's gonna be the patch. That's gonna be me. It's gonna be bonus. Like we said, let us know in the comments or currently or down below. Also, if you missed any of this, you can always rewind or it will be live shortly after we end the stream. It'll process and it'll be live as a video if you want to check it out later or leave a comment then. Don't forget to like it. Don't forget to follow us on social meds. Down below in the description are some stuff. You should click on them, do some things. I always announce when I'm streaming on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Facebook. So check those out and like those things and all that fun stuff. It'll be great. I promise. But yeah, other than that, I think that's where we say, or we bid you adieu, and adieu, and we will see all of you guys next time.
Later.